Papa.
Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you, brother. Look after yourself. The beginning of my journey out of Ukraine for, well, probably the last time, at least for this trip, because I will definitely be going home. I've got a flight booked and I needed to put an end to the trip at some point. You know, I came for 2 weeks originally and it's turned out to be 2 months. I just kept extending it, you know, times 4, so I needed to put an end date, and I've got a wedding that I really want to go to. It's one of my best mates, so that was my end date. But we're going to be crossing the border today at a place called Medica, or that's the way I'd pronounce it at least. And I'll follow myself across again and see, because there's been a lot of rumours about, like, you know, young males can't cross the border, even Western males. So young, like Ukrainian males, yes, they definitely can't cross the border, anywhere from 18 to 50, I believe. But there's been a lot of rumour about guys just like me trying to cross and them cutting up passports and being like, no, you can't go, you stay and fight. So, to be honest, I don't believe that rumour. But either way, we will cross today, see how it goes, see the length, see what's changed from last time to this time. Last time was very early in the war. This is, you know, getting weeks and weeks into the war. So we'll see. I haven't slept very much last night because the air raid siren all night, like, it was just every, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour and a half, air raid siren. So it is what it is. It's a war zone. What do you expect? So yeah, strap in for a crossing, and then to Warsaw, and then home. So this is the Ukrainian side of the border, and it's a lot less busy than last time. So we'll see how we go. Crossing into Poland here, then somehow I've got to get to Warsaw and then get through a COVID test and then get in a flight. I'm hoping this is the right gate, or else I'm crossing into fucking no man's land, but there's barely any line. Go from there. The biggest stress I have is passing a COVID test. That's been the biggest stress of this entire trip, leaving Australia and leaving Ukraine. It's just been fucking COVID testing, because Australia is so harsh on it and all the rulings I need. There's just a tiny line up here. There were some volunteers back on the Ukrainian side of the border, some Western volunteers, some church groups, some NGOs, you know, food, water, supplies. There's a lot of people crossing from Poland into Ukraine, a lot of Ukrainians crossing, and what they're doing is they're jumping into Poland, getting some supplies off like the NGOs and all the volunteers, and then bringing them back into their families and into Ukraine. So it'll be a long trip for them, a long heavy trip, because they're weighed down with all their stuff, as you can see here, but doing such a great job of supplying villages and families and themselves, because there's a lot of things that are lacking at the moment in Ukraine. Lviv, where I was, is pretty good, but supplies are running low in a lot of places. Okay, so that was super chill. I'm out of Ukraine. There was a lot of rumours about that they were like taking young male Westerners' passports and cutting them up and being like, go back and fight and stuff, and it's definitely just rumours, because they were just laughing that how much longer my beard is in my, well, I had no beard in my passport photo, and how long it is now. They were laughing because it was 7 or 8 years ago and I was a lot less weathered and a lot less hairy, and they were having a good laugh with me, and no, sent me on my way. No, yeah, nothing. No, chill as. It was nicer than all the border control, even in Australia or whatever. If you followed me for a while, you know that me and border control in Australia have a lot of problems every time with that. I don't have return flights booked and random stuff, but super chill. So we're currently in, I guess, no man's land between Ukraine and the Polish customs, which is just over here to actually enter into Poland. It is a beautiful day. It's like 12 degrees, sunny. Sad to leave. I'll do a video on, if it's not this one, I'll do a video on, I guess, my final comments about being here and what's happening. There's a heap of volunteers here. Sorry, my bag's falling off. Heaps of volunteers and the firefighters, local firefighters, the volunteers, using shopping trolleys to put everyone's bags in and move them across. Because a lot of people, like I said last time, crossing this border are crossing with their entire life, and they cross with as much as they can carry, and it's actually a little bit of a hike because I've crossed this way before, not out, but I've crossed this way in, so they carry their entire life, so make it just a little bit easier for them, because it is a little bit of a hike sometimes, and I've probably been carrying it for hours on end. So yeah, I'm a bit sad to be leaving, but it was time. You know, I'd planned for 2 weeks. I told Lily I was going to be gone for 2 weeks, and it turned into 8 weeks and a large-scale invasion of my trip. So of course that whole 8 weeks wasn't in Ukraine, but the majority of it was. So it's a weird feeling to be leaving, but I'm certain that I'll be back here. I'm in between the Polish and Ukrainian border. Santa is here with what I think is a big sack of presents for the kids, and there's some guy dressed in a chicken costume. So I'll be very interested to see what that's about. I'm about 50 metres off crossing into Poland for the last time of this trip. I didn't have an opportunity to film this coming in because I was in a bit of a rush to make that curfew, but the setup on this side, the border on the Polish side, is massive. Food, snacks, NGOs.
Karty telefoniczne bezkosztowne?
Nie.
Tak?
Tak.
All the good stuff. I can't get away from Santa. So I'm across on a bus now, heading to the train station somewhere here, then to get to Warsaw, because I fly from Warsaw because I'm a tight ass. It's way cheaper than Krakow. A lot further for me too though, but it's about saving money. Otherwise I couldn't do this stuff, so I'm gonna get to their COVID test and then I can boot it. Hopefully 1300 tomorrow on a plane leaving.